2 years ago, I built this chair to test a specific theory about structural joinery. It was my most ambitious project, and on the surface, it looked like a success. But the chair had a secret. A wobble I could no longer ignore. Today, I'm revisiting my biggest design failure to finally fulfill the vision I had years ago. To understand how to fix it, I had to look at what I was thinking 2 years ago. The only rules I set for this build were that the construction had to be honest, structure that explains itself, and that the parts needed to be performative, using joinery and their geometry to work in unison, not just look nice. Back then, I approached furniture making like a theory problem, trying to force the material to comply with an idea that only existed in my head. The entire design depended on this intersection. The leg stretchers passed through the seat pan, a pure expression of structure. It was amazingly ambitious for my skill level, but what was really amazing was that it worked. First time. This was a massive win. I've spent the last 2 years trying to figure out if it was pure skill or just dumb luck. I'm leaning toward luck, but let's keep that between us. I still didn't understand how wood actually behaves under different making processes, and this revealed itself when making the corresponding through tenons. Execution is where the theory fell apart. I remember the late summer nights after my day job, trying to force these joints together. I was terrified the whole thing would snap under the pressure. Gaps started to emerge where my joinery wasn't perfect, and so filler was used a little more than I was comfortable with. Looking back, I know exactly where I went wrong. I skipped the most important step in professional design: iteration. That step is exactly what came back to bite me 2 years later, and it's the whole reason I work differently now. If I had access to a professional workflow back then, I would have been able to bridge that gap. And that's exactly how I use today's sponsor, PCBWay. Instead of winging it on expensive oak, I run my structural interfaces through their 3D printing and CNC services first. First, you just head to the PCBWay website and select your service type. Whether it's 3D printing or CNC, their online portal makes it easy. Once you've uploaded your design, you'll walk through the simple order configuration. Just select your material, choose your finishing and processing methods, and then confirm your order. Testing structural joints this way is the difference between an amateur build and an engineered piece of furniture. If you're working with tight tolerances, check out the link in my description to start your own validation process. But before I get to how I actually fixed this chair, it's worth explaining why this video almost didn't happen the way you're watching it now. The video for this chair was one of the first times I saw traction on this channel. It was exciting. I thought I'd found the viral formula. But like the chair itself, the video didn't have the structural integrity to last. The difference between then and now is restraint. I used to think good design meant proving how much I could do. Now I believe good design is about clarity, both in the visual language and the process. So here's where that clarity actually got tested, because my first attempt to fix this chair also failed. Collaborating with my past self isn't just about remaking the chair, it's about correcting fundamental design failures. Every piece of furniture I build starts as a theory problem. In architecture, we talk about the relationship between form and function, but in the workshop, that relationship is brutally tested by physics. The stability issue with the chair is torsion. The legs stick out proud of the seat, with nothing to lock the rotation of that joint. Every time you sat down, the legs wanted to splay or rotate outwards because the original design relied on friction and a single point connection to resist torque. So I needed something to brace this movement laterally. Initially, I tried to solve the issue by adding a gusset or a brace to the interior of the seat pan. So I modeled it, tested it, and it didn't work, but for a reason I didn't see coming. Here's what I got wrong. Having spent hours drafting and visualizing a custom bracket tailored to the original chair geometry, I realized that it completely ruined the visual language of the signature cross structure. And testing with a scale model showed that it didn't even really fully resolve the wobble either. It failed on all counts. And this raised the question I still haven't fully answered. When you go back and fix your early mistakes, are you refining your craft or erasing the evidence of how you learnt it? Hold that thought, because the next attempt is where I really had to question this. My second attempt was about redirecting the force path. I had to create a rigid bridge that locked the legs together, preventing them from twisting under load. A stretcher basically, one that acts like a structural tie rod. Testing with 3D printing proved that one stretcher per pair of legs would resolve the wobble, but I was terrified it would ruin the minimal silhouette. I spent the afternoon just testing the tension, finding the line between structural integrity and visual weight. It's the kind of fine-tuning that can't be done at the computer screen. And here's where I landed. So, evolution or erasure? I think it's both, and I don't think that's a problem. Let me know in the comments. I suspect I'm not the only one with a quiet corner of the shop full of ghosts. Paint is a controversial choice in woodworking. To many it feels like hiding the craft, but I'm using it as a surgical tool. I know a lot of you might be against the idea of paint, but I'm going to explain my logic for this and see if I can convince you. By painting the oak structure black, I'm editing the piece. I'm pushing the eye toward the geometry, not the flaws in the execution. I'm reducing the visual noise. It clarifies the geometry and resolves the composition. I've always viewed this chair as a modular concept, not a one-off custom piece. Paint works here because I originally designed a chair with interchangeable finishes in mind. A system where two materials could collide in different ways to form the overall piece. Adding this black finish is about finally realizing that intent. By treating it as a family of variants, it starts to become a product that was designed to be manufactured. I used to think improvement meant leaving the past behind, striving for the next thing. I don't think that way anymore. Every project leaves something of worth. This was an upcycle, but it was also a conversation. Two versions of me, separated by a few years, and finally agreeing on what this piece should have been in the first place. My younger self provided the ambition, I provided the common sense. It's a pretty good partnership. As long as he still respects his elders, even if his elder is just him, 2 years later. Thanks for watching.